This is a microphone test. The microphone test. I don't wear knickers or a vest. This is a microphone test. I'm trying to say things with and hello. All right there. Now, to avoid it infiltrating the audio, I've had to drop out the air conditioning. So if I start sweating like a polecat, it's due to years of drug abuse and neglect. So this is part 2, presented in a different format. And I'd like to just talk about that briefly. I've managed to knock out 11 videos while I've been out in Thailand, and I'm very happy with the quality of them. And you know, I've tried a few different formats and experimented in that, and the comments have been incredible. You know, when I started YouTube, I was aware that the internet can be a nasty place, a brutal place. You know, people being a cunt to you is quite unpleasant. You know, and when it's ongoing and daily, and the internet is, you know, there's a lot of very weak and uncourageous people who find it a perfect platform to sit there being bitter and resentful and letting you know. And you know, I'm an open book. It's very personal stuff of mine, you know, and I take responsibility for that as I do it. But my comments section, oh, wonderful. I think I've mentioned this before. Devon Tracy once, after giving me he mirrored one of my videos, and I got a swarm of subs, and I thanked him for it. And although he was joking, point remained, he said to me, I went, oh, thanks for all the subs. It's really, really helpful and encouraging. And he went, they're your problem now. But my experience has been quite the opposite. My comment sections are usually incredibly respectful, incredibly creative, and you know, and positive, and they're good criticism. You know, almost without fail, I wished I'd made the video after reading the comments. You know, the insight, the different angles, the sort of lack of emotional well, not lack of, but a different emotional engagement. You know, that my understanding of the subject would have been better had I have had your input beforehand. But you know, that's how it goes. And then the next video hopefully takes into account some of those things. Thanks for that. I want to thank my patrons as well. I've had to take a massive pay cut to move to Southeast Asia, and that my patrons, the money that they donate is a significant part of my existence now. You know, I make next to nothing on the advertising. I mean next to nothing. We're talking about a few quid, a few dollars a year. But my Patreon money is significant. And also, if you give $1 or £1, once it's over here, it's worth considerably more than that. Sometimes double. In Cambodia, $1 is worth about $2.50, I think, something like that. So it's really appreciated. If you like this channel, you enjoy it, and you're considering supporting, think about it. Just $1, easy to do. PayPal, Patreon, Maker support, all there in there, all down there, all there in there, all down there in the description. I would really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Okay, let's get on with this horrific story. If you didn't see The Coldest Man in Patong Part 1, probably makes sense to watch that rather than go straight into this, because as you'll see, it starts in an otherwise strange place. My heart is hurting. My first set of thoughts are all about other people. My concern is my girlfriend, a girl I was with at the time, a girl who I actually seriously, significantly loved. One of the few women I've spent a lot of time, one of the few girlfriends I've had who I actually cared about to the point of love. My worry was about her. My concern was about my mother. You know, they were aware that I was in Thailand getting clean. The post-mortem would have shown overdose of methamphetamine. And it would have left them thinking, was he just a liar? You know, he went out there to get clean. What was he actually doing? Shooting up methamphetamine. Didn't even know he used it. Now, these are my initial concerns. Secondly, it was death. There was a good chance this was going to kill me. I had no tolerance to methamphetamine, and overdoses are all about tolerance. You know, you can explain how dangerous a drug is when you look at the difference between an effective and a fatal dose. With something like alcohol, it's quite considerable. Excuse me, quite considerable. 2 glasses of gin is an effective dose. To kill you, you'll probably have to do a bottle, which is what, 30, 40 glasses. LSD, the same, etc., etc. Heroin, quite small. Methamphetamine, quite small. And with no tolerance, my aching heart, I could feel it contracting. I could feel it expanding. That's a beating heart, essentially. But it was going... At that point, when it had reached some kind of fatal velocity, ooh, I could see my chest moving. Now, whether I was hallucinating or not, it's hard to say, but for sure, as you'll see, my visual sense was certainly compromised. But it would appear I could see my heart beating through my skin. I thought I've got to try and get in the shower, and there was this mad sense of shame and of stupidity and selfishness. I just thought, this is your addiction. This is what it is. You can say it's this, you can say it's that, you can say that, you can make loads of defenses, you can talk about the good times, talk about the nice times, talk about the creative times, but do not forget this is part of that. You know, it's a bumpy old ride. And that selfishness, that desperation, again, I said it in the previous video, that utter need that I just stuck a needle the size of a javelin in a fucking hole in my leg and squirted a load of shake and bake, not even shards. You know, these ain't the crystals. This is sulfuric acid, hydrochloric acid, lithium, brake fluid, ammonia, burning my brain and burning my heart and killing me. I didn't want to die. I certainly didn't want to die like that. I didn't want to be one of those people splayed out, star-shaped, naked, blood on my leg, needle in hand, in an unnamed room in an unnamed town. I thought I'd try and get in the shower. I thought maybe some cold water. When I tried to, because at this point I'd flopped down on the bed. When I tried to get up, it was this sort of, my reality was sort of juddering. It was like imagine the image you can see. Imagine that became a panel and sort of fell forward. Then there was the next one that fell forward, like someone riffing through a pack of cards, but with the frame of reality. Imagine this image you're looking at now, just chuk 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 chuk, and I was just, my heart was still going, and there's this taste in my mouth. You know, whenever you have anything intravenously, that blood travels around your body really quickly. We tend to think it's quite a slow, sluggish, but no, you know, when you hit anything intravenously, you can taste it within seconds. And you know, that list of chemicals I just hit you do not make for the finest methamphetamine. No, hideous. And I had this taste in my mouth, and I could just feel water pissing out of me and cold on my hot skin, and I didn't have the strength to negotiate a straight line to the bathroom. As I stood up, I was carried with my weight sort of over to the boom hands on it. It was textbook kind of stuff. Look, I can show you. It was all this kind of thing, you know, that sort of like when you go, and then you fall over to the other side of the room, just leaning on things, and just, oh man, not ideal, not perfect. And you know, most of you know that this is an adapted section of my novel because it happened, and it pushes to the surface like shit in ice one of the key themes of this novel, and it's kind of a pitiful position, but the theme of, why is this me? Why are these my choices? Why are these my problems? Why is this me? Why aren't I like them? And I remember tripping on this methamphetamine, thinking I'm going to die, thinking the pain I'm going to cause my mum and my girlfriend and my friends, especially my mum and my girlfriend. And outside I could hear people enjoying their holiday. I could hear music, I could hear laughter, I could hear the clinking of bottles. Normal stuff. And it seemed so far away. I seemed so lonely and so pointless. Just, you know, and the effort that goes into creating this utterly pointless situation. Now, don't forget, I'm withdrawing as well. Yeah, that's why I've shot meth, because I was after some heroin. I hadn't had any for what, 7 or 8 days now. So I'm withdrawing, and now I'm on methamphetamine. Two things you wouldn't want to do separately, but together fucking vile. So I've managed to get into the shower, and I've just sort of, I'm up against the wall, and I sort of flailing through the controls, managed to turn it on, and there's all this sort of, and there's no hot water in these showers anyway. You know, you can turn the dial up and get it warm, but for obvious reasons, no one has hot shower. Well, in the guest houses you don't. So I've turned the dial right round, and it's cold, and and I'm in there. I haven't had a shower in a few days because I've been withdrawing, and it's given time for a few cockroaches to make themselves at home in the shower, and the water has pissed them off, and a couple of them, they're scattering about trying to avoid these things. Now, usually I'm out of that bathroom, whoa, downstairs, oh, you gotta go. You know, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of insects, spiders, the lot, mice, all. And I knew there was no, just so fucking what? Give them something to eat. If I do flop down dead here, they can make their way through my corpse. Incredible level of self-loathing. And then I've tried to look down. I thought, at least just don't be near them. And as I've looked down, then my vision really went, and I could see like a pattern of cockroaches. Now, I know this isn't an effect of amphetamine-based narcotics. This is a combination of my body and mind being weakened by a withdrawal, not having slept, not having eaten, having had no water, and shot up that. And you know, it was like a grid. You know the magic eye pictures, you have to stare behind them and they form an image. Well, it was like that, but made out of cockroaches and sort of moving slightly. And what was 2 or 3 became, you know, 4 or 6, became 18, 24. And then it was as if there was like a carpet of perfectly aligned cockroaches on the shower floor, and I could feel them all over my feet, and I just sort of slid down the wall, and I tried to cry. I tried to make the effort to get some emotion out, and it was fucking pathetic. I just sort of went that was it. And that's not the first time that's happened, and probably not the last. That's happened to me before. I'd like to cry more. I don't know how to do it. I'm not good at it. It's not something I've practiced. And that's what happens. I sort of do this and shit, it doesn't have the desired effect. It's not. I'm not aware of my emotions. I'm not indulging them. I'm just. It's just failure and misery and loss of an absolute loss of self-respect. And you know, in the film Midnight, no, what's it called? Midnight, not Midnight Cowboy, Midnight Run. I think it might be called Midnight Run, about the bloke who gets nicked for a load of hashish coming out of Istanbul in the early 80s, I think. True story. There's a bit in that he goes mental, he goes crazy. He's in one of those sort of mad, sort of foreign prisons where it's just a question of survival. And he's losing his mind, and his wife or girlfriend, I can't remember, goes to visit him, and they're sort of separated by a screen or something in this little grotty room, and he can't even talk to her. I think he's just crying, and he snaps one out. He has a wank. He just sort of looks at her. I remember watching it and being disgusted and just thinking, you know, not being able to identify with it or anything, and just thinking, you know, that. And I spent a lot of my 20s using a lot of amphetamines, and it was very sexual. You know, in the gay community in England, there's a lot of chemsex, chemical sex. You know, they'll hire rent boys, and they'll expect them to be. They call it slamming. That's their word for injecting. They expect them to be injecting cocaine and methamphetamine. And, you know, that's part of the sexual experience. And then having these orgies that go on for days and days, and seriously. And me and girlfriends used to do it on speed and masturbating. I'm not kidding. I've wanked for 3 days on the trot, really, to the point where I've had to go to the doctors afterwards because my penis was red raw, and I'm convinced I had some kind of disease. And they're like, no, it's just overuse. It's just leave the fucking thing alone. And in the midst of this withdrawal stroke methamphetamine trip, I had a wank in the shower. You know, just on the floor, just, you know, it didn't get hard or anything. Nice. What a position. Now, I remember thinking, after that, it didn't take long. It wasn't, it wasn't dramatic. I remember I just went and just laid on the bed and just tried to breathe, just tried to concentrate on my breathing, trying to in the nose, out the mouth, and try and make it in a cycle rather than in, out, sort of this. You know, just fucking breathe, and you try and be psychosomatic about it. You know, try and get the brain and body together. I don't want to die. I've just poisoned myself. I'm very weak anyway. All right, let's get all resources possible. Let's get help yourself here. Relax, breathe, and tell yourself get through it. And you'll be all right. And I think I laid there for about 2 hours before my heart calmed down enough and before the sweating was bearable enough for me to go out and try and buy some more smack. Oh yeah, I was back. I was, after the meth, I felt so, a withdrawal is one of the most hideous things you can go through. I've done it, and I'm serious. People who've done it years ago, or have seen it, they say, "Oh, it's like a bad flu." It's not. It's fucking agony, and it's mental anguish, and it's physical. It's fucking horrific. And because I'd already snapped and already decided to score, the fact that I'd only got some meth by accident, that wasn't going to stop me. And I went out again, up to another motorcycle courier with the fucking writing on the phone. I went, mate, I need some of this. And now I look, I wouldn't have forgiven him for thought I just crawled out of a drain, soaking wet clothes, pissing with sweat, like a zombie. Yeah, he's made a few phone calls. He's put the phone to me, and this bloke, very good English, went, "Hello, you looking for heroin?" I was like, yeah. I went, "Have you got white heroin?" Because I'm thinking I've got no citric, all this. And I just right, come on. I just stuck a load of fucking methamphetamine shake and bake in me. But, oh, have you got it? I'd love some of the finest number 4, if possible. And a little, I don't know, perhaps an Afghani brown chaser. That's splendid. Anyway, he went, "I've got yellow, white, or brown." Yellow was a bit weird, but he seemed a connoisseur. This was great. Sweet. I'll come and get it. Go to the scooter man. Pretend when he's talking to the bloke in Thai afterwards, I'd laugh a couple of times and sort of so that he thinks I can speak Thai, so that they can't set anything up. Oh, I'm sure he was convinced. Oh, I appeared like a threat. Anyway, he said it's going to take about 20 minutes. I went, all right, sweet. Got on the back of his scooter. Off we go. The blur continues. The mess evolves. This is a ball of shit rolling down a mountain of shit, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and at the bottom is my future. I start falling asleep. I'm kind of passing out. You can't sleep coming off of heroin, but I'm sort of like this and realising I'm on the back of a scooter and then gone again and flopping all around. I put my arms round him. Never done that. No one does. He didn't seem to mind. I've got them round him, but I'm kind of jolting and bumping and just, if you made a list of hideous things, coming down from methamphetamine, coming off of heroin, not eaten, not slept, on the back of make a list of all the things you don't want to be doing. I was just ticking them all off. Oh, yeah, yep. And I remember thinking, I wouldn't be surprised if we had a crash, if something just hit us. Oh, what would it have mattered? Probably the best chance I would have had of getting some fucking opiates. Looking back, I should have just fucking threw him off and we could have been dragged along the ground. There's so many crashes around here by scooters. They call that tarmac burner a Patong tattoo. Anyway, we're going along for what seems like forever, and I'm just keeping it in my head that, you're going to get some. This geezer's got some white gear. You've been lucky. All this will be over. And this is a weird thing. If I'd have got that and just got home, banged it in, I would have been fine, had a shower, had something to eat, gone out, listened to some music, met some people, normal life. Really. Right, that it wouldn't have been like having gear and like, oh yeah, man, it's like the Velvet Underground. No, it would have made everything normal. I would have blended in. I would have been the same as people. Finally, after weaving through roads and God knows where and out this and round there and all sorts of thought, this is what I didn't want to be doing, thinking, and it's all I could do at such an intense and heightened level We finally pull over. You know, God knows where we are now. I've never been this far out of Patong town, to this bar. And the man, he says to me, "Give money for drink. Give money for drink." I don't give a shit. I just give him 1,000 baht, 20 quid. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And he comes back over. He says, he asked me if I want anything. I just say water, water. And he comes back with a water, a short glass, which looks like it's got about 4 shots of whiskey in it, and a bottle of beer. And I'm thinking, all right, any minute now. And I say to him, how long, how long? And he says, And I realise we're not meeting anyone here. He's just having a drink. He's a drunk. He's an alcoholic. And I'll see as he goes down for this glass, his hands, he's not right. He's the cunt's withdrawing. He's got delirium tremens. He's just driven out to a bar and I'm now buying him a drink. And he's gone down for this whiskey and I can see it as he's... And he's gone like that. And then when he's opened his eyes, for the first time, one of his eyes is not there. It's like a ball of, it looks like a cue ball. It's a milky white absence. It's there, but it's just a white, it's a fake nothing. I don't know what it is. Like, I tell you what, look, it was a white ball, a milky white. There was no cornea, iris. It was like almost it had been turned up. I've got a one-eyed alcoholic scooter driver scoring for me. Oh yeah. Oh, we are on. I'm just waiting for my man. He has this scotch, and then I just have to sit there like, yeah, you know, he has a fag, and I'm, you know, and he just puts his beer back, and yeah, I'm absolutely right. We get back on the scooter, off we go, and of course, I'm aware now why he's weaving, why it's. Imagine, you know, I've made the mistake of drinking a couple of beers and getting on a scooter, only around the back roads, you know, and I mean there's no traffic on them, but fuck me, it's different. It's like, oh fuck, you know, these are busy public roads. He's got one eye and he's drunk. He's just done a fucking quadruple and a bottle in a matter of 5 minutes, and now we're about God knows. Whew. We finally get to this housing estate. I've never seen a housing estate in Thailand. It's easy to think it's all like Patong and Pattaya and Bangkok, but obviously no, people live in difficult situations. They're mid-rises, rows and rows, you know, lights on here and there, but it's pretty dark. There's no street lighting. And when you've grown up used to street lighting, fuck me, do you notice it when it's not there? You know, you can't see the ground. It's a strange thing. It's an odd thing, disconcerting. And we pull up, the scooter pulls up, and in no time it would seem, this bloke turns up, seems quite well dressed, nice motorbike, not a scooter, something like a 125 or something. He pulls up and he opens his hand as he stops, and he's got this bag of slightly off-white powder, and I just think, oh, incredible, incredible. I can now be normal. You know, look at the couple of hours I've had, I can now be normal. So I've got to reach out for it. I just want to dab, just try it. I'll stick a bit up my nose, and he just pulls it back. Goes, no, no, no. He says 20,000 baht, about £400. I put my hand in my pocket. I got about 6,000. I go, mate, look. I go, there's I got 6,000. I go, just give me a little bit of it. Just give me a third of. And he's like, no, 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 20,000 baht. And I'm thinking, right, I've got my card on. I go, right, I go, we need an ATM. We need an ATM. We drive around like, for God knows, get to an ATM. Nah, won't give it to me. We go to another one. Nah, I'm crying at the cash machine. I'm crying. I'm 40 years old and I'm crying. I'm sliding down it, sweating. I've got this bloke on a scooter behind me. He's got the answer to all my problems in his hand. I've got the scooter man with his one eye. He's got another beer from God knows where. God, man, imagine being able to buy your drug of choice from corner shops. Fucking hell, for 2 quid. Fucking hell, man. Oh no, not this one. Not this mystery product. You have to go through all this shit. I decided I tell him, I said, I've got another card at my hotel. Now, I've now got to pass the reception. I've been up and down, zipping past them. They know something's wrong, but you know, usually I would never have taken dealers anywhere near the hotel. That place has to remain I have to remain. I don't want people knowing where I am. I don't want to be able to ring up the old Bill and tell them there's a drug user at that place. But I'm past security. I'd rather just have a jab and go to prison. You know, I'm more interested in getting that gear in me than what's going to happen after it at this stage. We get back to the hotel. Yeah, fuck it. I'm just running up the stairs. I get the business bank card, which I shouldn't draw money out of. Run downstairs, get on the scooter, go to the ATM. No, I won't. Fuck, I can't work out why they won't. Why it's not working. Why can't I get any more money? It's just not working. I just fall down. I'm begging the bloke. By this point, I'm now begging the bloke. I say, look, man. I say, you know where I'm living. I can't give you my bank card, so I cannot. There's other people relying on that. I say, look, I'll give you this 6,000. I said, I will give you the rest tomorrow. I'll give you 30,000 tomorrow. He looks at me and he gives me it. I just swipe it off him. The motorbike taxi was going, hey, well, what about a tip for me? Well, I haven't given him a penny. I said, I bought you a fucking whiskey. Go on, fuck off. Come up to my room. And I'm just, you know, what have I been through from going out to that weird house, to the other bloke, to the girl who said cocaine, to that smelly room, the other scooter, the you know, the meth, the cockroaches, all this. Oh my! And I get in, I pour it in a spoon, I pour in some water, and that's not heroin. God knows what that is. I start crying again. But it's not, as I said, I'm not going, I'm not letting out emotions. I'm just going, it's pathetic, it's lost. It's like a robot, badly programmed, looking for that tear function, but it's a corrupted file. I should care. This should hurt. I'm trying to cry. Trying to be fucking human. I'm trying to make this mean something. I'm trying to give a fuck about who I am. And I can't. I don't. I didn't. And I stick that dirty old God knows how long big, because I didn't pick up any other spikes. I stick it in this weird lumpy, you know, the top of it's gone like a crystalline, like a sheen, like it's like got a surface on it, like ice. Not ice methamphetamine, but you know what? Do you know what I mean? Like I've had to crack it to get to the liquid below. This isn't anywhere near heroin. I heat it up. I put a flame under it to break it down. And I pull it up and I push it into a hole in my leg. And I can barely get the plunger down because there's lumps blocking it. It's sort of ah. And I just lay down on the bed and my calf muscles just like cramped. In my right leg first just went hard, went and then my left leg. And now I'm just laying on the bed thinking, that could be anything. It is anything because it's not heroin. And you've put it straight into your blood, not you, me. I put it straight into my bloodstream. There's a little hairy blood-brain barrier that's going to stop that stuff, some of it, getting to my brain. And I try and move my feet like that, and as I do it, it feels like my calves are cracking. The muscles seem to have become brittle. I sit up all night, slowly getting the life back into my legs. At one point, I'm stroking my legs. I'm trying to love them. I know plenty of people who've lost legs from using. Carl got a needle tattooed there, and underneath it says "Still winning." Doesn't look so good on when he's fucking zooming his wheelchair around his flat full of empty pizza boxes and methadone bottles. I think he's dead now. I'm trying to love him. I'm trying to imagine what it'd be like without him. Anyway, I didn't try and score again. I got clean then. I got clean. Didn't last long, but I'd done it. I think I got about 5 months out of that one. Nobody's perfect.